Hello everybody! Good to see you all again. I hope you all are doing well, and I hope you all in the mood for some more videos here, because I'd like to welcome you all to another episode of TTBurger Remastered Game Reviews, and I'm your host, Tony. And you know that PlayStation gamer guy here to bring you some more game reviewing action. Now, I want to ask you all a question here, and I want to see some hands here when I ask this question. How many of you who play games in the arcades have played something called a light gun game? Come on, raise those hands up high. Come on, raise them high. Well, I was one of them. And those of you who don't know what light gun games are, allow me to explain. A light gun game was a game that had a gun as the controller, and your goal was simple. Use the gun, aim with the gun to shoot down the bad guys to advance to the next part of the stage and stuff and the game. It was a great concept, and it worked really well. Some people call them on-rail shooters at that, but I call them light gun games at that, because you're using the gun as the controller. The home market here had said some as well, but this is what I want to talk about here. Today we're going to be talking about the Time Crisis series, and those of you who never played Time Crisis, the goal was simple here. Let me just explain. You had a gun, a pistol as the controller, and you aimed with the gun and to shoot the bad guys to advance to the next stage. And it was a simple concept, and it worked really well. And me being a big fan of Namco, I instantly fell in love with the game when it first came out back in 1995 in the arcade, and then 2 years later for the home console. And this is what we're going to be talking about today. We're going to be talking about the Time Crisis franchise. This will be in 5 parts here. Part 1, Time Crisis. Part 2, Time Crisis Project Titan. Part 3, Time Crisis 2. Part 4, Time Crisis 3. And Part 5, Time Crisis 4. Now I know there's Time Crisis Crisis Zone on the PlayStation 2 in the arcades. The PlayStation 2 version came out after Time Crisis 3, but it depends on how I feel. If I do decide to review it, I'll add it as an extra episode to the Remastered series review. But if not, then it'll be its own review if I ever do decide to make a Namco spin-off series review and like that. So just saying there. And it's time for once again for one of those reviews here, and we're gonna start off with looking at the original Time Crisis, first released in the arcades in December 1995, and then on Halloween of 1997. Well, let's hop here, so let's get started. Wait, what are you guys doing here? I told you I don't need you guys anymore. I don't need no watermarks in my games anymore. So what are you guys doing here?
You put us in retirement.
Retirement? I never retired you. I stopped using you a long time ago.
Well, we want to come back.
Well, I'm sorry, but I don't need you guys anymore. So, I'm sorry. Just go away. Don't interrupt this anymore. Go, bye, go.
Gonna regret this.
Jeez. Anyway, let's get started. We're talking about Time Crisis here. Now, the first game in the Time Crisis franchise, it's actually a great first game. Not without other complaints like that. I played both the arcade and the PlayStation version, and both are fun in their own ways. Both have their own complaints. Unfortunately, I can't talk about the arcade version. I don't own the arcade game and games like that, so the PS1 version is the best one to go, and it comes very close to the arcade game. It just has a couple shortcomings here and there, and stuff like that, but still a great game overall. It's a short game. Don't get me wrong, it's a short game, but it keeps you playing to get that the high score, progress the story and more. And it's one of those type of games where you got to keep playing. The PlayStation version, when it came out, came with the gun-con controller. As you can see, I'll show it again. This is the gun-con controller that it came with, and the one that came in Japan was black, completely black, but they changed the color because they didn't wanna give something to kids that looked like a real gun. So they made it gray with an orange tip at the end. So it's still a cool thing there, definitely. And also that the PlayStation version comes with a special mode as well, which we'll talk about later on. Let's get started here with the nitty-gritty. The story of Time Crisis goes like this. There's been a kidnapping. Rachel McPherson, the daughter of the newly elected president of Serbia, William McPherson, has been kidnapped by Shrito Garo, whose family ruled the nation of Serbia for many years until William McPherson was elected. Enraged by the loss and spending months planning the kidnapping with the help of the notorious mercenary called Wild Dog, Shrito hoped McPherson would resign by also demanding military secrets in exchange for his daughter Rachel's life. But that did not happen. Rachel, though, has been taken to Shrito's family castle and held there, and the deadline is sunset, and McPherson contacts the Vital Simulation Swift Elimination International Intelligence Agency, also known as the V.S.S.E, for help. And you play as Richard Miller, the one-man army silent protagonist. Your goal is simple: get into the castle and rescue Rachel, while just defeating enemies along the way. It's a great story. It's not a deep story, but it works in its own way for sure. And so this type of games didn't need a deep story. The story is an excuse for you to kill more bad guys and to move the game along. So that's what worked there fine. Presentation, I gotta say that the game's graphics are great. Although not as good as the arcade version, they come very, very, very close. Because I knew it wasn't going to be as good because of the PlayStation technical limitations, but still, it's very close to the arcade version. You'll barely notice the difference aside from like the frame rate and some like graphics a little bit darker than the character model stuff, but still they come very, very close. You got great character model stuff, even though the mouse really don't move when they talk and stuff like that, and their eyes look kind of weird looking. They still look great. And the backgrounds are great too, with some crisp lighting as well, and the frame rate is decent throughout the whole game as well. Sound, I gotta say, kick-ass music. It's that action, light gun music that moves you into the game and keep you going. Especially these some kick-ass, especially the song for the first level and stuff. It's just, man, kick-ass music. But the voice acting is blah voice acting. Like just the voice acting is very hokey but funny. But truth is, it's not bad, but it's blah in its own way. Stuff so it could have been better, but still. This was an arcade light gun game. It wasn't meant to be. It wasn't gonna have like solid voice acting for its time or something like that. So the voice acting is blah, but it works in its own ways. And the gun sound effects sound great too. It sounds really realistic for its time, and so sound is good for the most part. The gameplay at Time Crisis goes like this. It's good, but not without its flaws. It's good. It's good like a fresh homemade cheeseburger you just pulled out. You just pulled off the grill with some, and just tastes good too. Medium well done. And like I mentioned before, this is a light gun game. And like I already mentioned the controller here, the gun controller. In the United States, here in North America, it came in two colors. We got the gray one, and they later changed it to orange and stuff. And you basically have two buttons on it where you press A and B. A or B like take you out of cover, and of course you got the trigger to shoot. And the goal is to shoot down the enemies in the time limit to advance. Each time you shoot all the enemies, you move to the next part. You have to be fast. You only have a certain amount of time. You have 3 or 5 lives depending on the difficulty. Once you lose all the lives around time, it's a big game over for you. However, you can find more lives by shooting 50 enemies in a row without missing, and stuff. So like, if you can try and shoot all the enemies like that, then be my guest, try it. Aside from shooting the enemies, you also have the boss fights, which kick ass as well. They're tough and innovative too. And there's a special mode exclusive to the PlayStation version, which you're ordered to take down the organization Cantarth and their leader. And it's fun, but like I'll talk about that later. It's a fun game overall, definitely. But now let's talk about the bads. First off, the game is really hard. I suck at this game. I never was able to fully beat it without cheat code. I know TTBurger 88 had to use cheat code to beat a game, so that which something that I don't like to do. But even so, with the cheat code and stuff like that, I still very rarely beat it. And like, it's just I do suck at the game. I will admit I do suck at the game, so it's my fault there that I suck at it. But just I never know to beat this game completely and stuff like that. So yeah. But even then, I do not care to use them because I hope to beat it one day, and I will do it. I know how it ends, but it's still a hard game. Another problem is that the time on the clock keeps ticking down. Even when you move to part of the level, you can't shoot. It's in wait mode. It doesn't pause the timer like that, and it can cause you to get the game over screen. And you cannot use the gun controller on a modern TV. I've tried both my gun controllers here, and they didn't work. And it's a common thing. They don't work on a flat screen TV. So I had to use the controller, and it's very hard to move your crosshair and stuff like that with the controller because you either move way too fast or move too slow because the dot that shows you aim does not move the greatest too, and just that you just have to guess to be sure you're aiming and aiming at the character or the enemy or so, because even if you're slightly off, it doesn't work. And it just makes the game harder than it is. The special mode is a nice feature to have, but it's not as good as the original arcade story mode. It has multiple endings, but the good endings are non-canonical. But it does introduce us to Kantaris though, that's for sure. But still, it's a great game overall. And just aside from those complaints there, yeah, it's like, final thoughts here. It's a great game, but has some shortcomings there that prevent it from being like a perfect game. But still, Time Crisis was a way to go there, definitely. And although it does have, I should mention one more complaint that like when you get the game over screen like that, it starts the level over. So that's just a little problem I have there. But still, yeah, that's all I gotta say there. But final thoughts, still a great game. Definitely worth owning your collection of PlayStation games if you like Namco and like gun games, definitely. Due to the complaints I have with Time Crisis, I'll still be giving it a high score because it was the first game and it was still fun to play. I'll give it a 9 out of 10. Best score to give it because Time Crisis kicks ass, and you know, it's definitely worth owning in your collection there, definitely. And that's it for episode 2, part 1 of 5 of my Remastered Game Reviews. Stay tuned for part 2, I mean to say, where we'll be taking a look at Time Crisis Project Titan, exclusive to the PlayStation release in 2001. How does this game fare from the original? Find out next, which is all I gotta say. And you know the drill. Subscribe, like the video, comment down below, and join my Discord group, TTBurger Game Reviews. We're always looking for more people to join. Click straight below, so feel free to click away. Which is all I gotta say. This is Tony. Peace out, have a great day, and see you all in my review of Time Crisis Project Titan.